Hey there, everyone. The Doctor is in, and it is time for us to begin Turnabout's Beginnings. Thank you, Shadow Knight, for joining us already. Appreciate you. Alright, my voice might be... I've noticed that for whatever reason, my voice has been a lot quieter lately, so I have upped the input on my mic. Hopefully this is not overpowering. We will see. I end up sounding like Goku when I scream. You'll know why. Dub Goku. If I start sounding like the Japanese Goku, I need serious help. Girl, let her go. Shut up. Come closer and I kill her. Sorry, but you're not going to get the chance. I'm reading through the file of an old court case. It was the first case of my longtime mentor, Mia Fey. Name Terry Falls. Charge kidnapping, murder, sentence death penalty. Fugitive movements. After escaping, Falls met with and then murdered Sergeant Valerie Hawthorne, recaptured on Eagle Mountain about 8 hours after his escape. Her very first client was a death row inmate who had recently broken out of prison. That was a whole year before Mia and I ever met. Six years earlier, Mia Fey, first trial. February 16th, 9:24 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 4, which looks suspiciously similar to Defendant Lobby Number 2. Even has the same artwork. What's up with that? Ugh, I'm so nervous. I feel like I'm going to die. I never should have accepted this case. Good morning. Don't be so jumpy, Mia.
I didn't do nothing. I swear, I didn't kill nobody.
Terry Falls, my first client. Sentenced to death 5 years ago, and now a prison escapee. Just relax, Mia. Make small talk and try to relax him. So why did you escape anyway? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill nobody. I never lie. I didn't escape from nowhere.
But, Mr. Falls, the police just recaptured you 2 days ago.
Sorry. I told a little lie.
Oh, boy.
But anyway, I didn't do it. I never killed nobody.
I'm sorry for asking, but you're on death row, right? I'm really sorry. Really sorry.
He sentenced me to die 5 years ago, but I was tricked, I tell you. That woman, she lied in her testimony. That's why I got the death penalty. I swear it. I didn't kill her. I could never do that.
2 days ago, he escaped from the police wagon when it crashed. Then about 8 hours later, a policewoman was murdered before the police could recapture him. Police believe that Terry Falls did it. After you escaped, did you meet a policewoman?
Yeah, I did. She's the reason I escaped.
So that much is true. He did meet with the victim.
But I didn't kill her! She was alive when I left. She was alive! It's true!
I can trust him, right? I mean, I should. Ha! You're not gonna figure out the truth by just staring at the guy. Why are you here? I came to see how our little kitten was doing all alone in the big scary lion's den. I thought maybe you'd like someone to play with. Where's Mr. Grossberg? Ha! That old man's probably still in bed. I bet he's clutching an empty bottle and mumbling in his sleep. Eye good enough? After all, it's me, Diego Armando. I didn't say. So, Diego Armando, the finest attorney at Grossberg Law Offices, is here for me? No. You got it all wrong. Today, you're the finest. After all, it took an amazing amount of guts to take this case. Imagine, an escaped death row convict for a first client. Yeah, thanks. Sure wish I could get out of it, though. Ha! Relax. I just heard some good news. The prosecutor for today is fresh out of his diapers as well. Really? However, unlike a certain somebody who I won't mention, He's earned the reputation as a genius since beginning his law career. Genius? Well, it's about time to head in, kitten. Sharpen those claws of yours. It's go time. A solitary confinement cell for the condemned must be the world's loneliest place. And that's what my client ran away from. Every other lawyer gave up on him, but not me. When I saw those overflowing eyes and heard that simple, childlike voice, I just had the feeling that he was telling the truth. Court is now in session for the trial of Terry Falls. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Welcome in, Spoiler. How are you? I understand the lawyers for both sides are newcomers. Yes, Your Honor. I'm Mia Fey. Miles Edgeworth, Your Honor. So you're the new prosecutor everyone is talking about, eh? They say you joined the prosecutor's office at quite an early age. At 20, Your Honor. I guess our little kitten hasn't earned herself much of a reputation yet, huh? Come on, Mia, you can't lose, not to someone younger than you. Huh. Young people running a trial. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. Now then, the defendant in this case is currently a felon on death row. 2 days ago, he escaped from a police wagon, is that correct? Precisely. But the defendant is not on trial for escaping prison. On the day that the defendant escaped, a policewoman was murdered. So we're here to determine if Mr. Falls was responsible for her death? You got it, kitten. Well then, Mr. Edgeworth, let's hear your opening statement. Glad I'm committing to the bit. Thank you. Yes, Your Honor. It was 5 years ago. The defendant, Terry Falls, was sentenced to death in this very court. His crimes were kidnapping, extortion, and murder. The girl he threw off the bridge was only 14 years old. A truly horrible crime. I remember it well. There is no decisive evidence, so the trial was long and protracted. Correct. But in the end, what finally decided the case was a certain witness's testimony. A witness's testimony? The testimony of Detective Valerie Hawthorne, the person who confronted this criminal. She arrested Mr. Falls at the scene and later testified against him. She said she witnessed Mr. Falls throw his young victim into the river. For those who are not aware, Eagle River is well known for its powerful current. Most bodies that fall in are never recovered. So Miss Hawthorne's testimony was the one that put him away. That policewoman you just mentioned, that wouldn't be... Exactly, the victim. The same woman that was killed 2 days ago. Police Sergeant Valerie Hawthorne. Aha! I see. The man who was sentenced to death based on her testimony escaped 2 days ago, with only one thing on his mind, to take revenge against the woman who convicted him. Aha! The truth is becoming clear to me now. Huh? Yes. It's quite obvious that the defendant is guilty.
Objection!
Well, wait a minute, that's not right! At least hear the case before you decide the outcome, Your Honor. Watch yourself, Miss Fey. I'm not sure I care for your word choice or your tone of voice.
He's the judge's brother, alright.
Young people these days simply don't know how to respect their elders. Why, you're even younger than me, you hypocrite! Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, please call your first witness. I called the detective who was in charge of the initial investigation of this case. That is not very live-laugh lobster of the judge, no. Well, up yours, woke moralist. We'll see who judges whom guilty. Witness, state your name and occupation.
Gumshoe! Dick Gumshoe! I'm the homicide detective in charge of the case, sir. I finally got promoted to the detective division half a year ago.
I don't believe anyone asked you about that.
Hey, man! You got any idea how much work it takes?
What is it?
You're really gorgeous.
Excuse me?
No, seriously, my heart, it's aching for you.
Detective, pull yourself together and try to be professional. Otherwise, I'll write you up on contempt so quick that something other than your heart will ache.
Okay, I got it. Now, detective, tell us about the incident. Yes, sir, right away. The victim was Sergeant Valerie Hawthorne, a veteran on the police force. She was stabbed in the back with a knife and died from excessive blood loss. That much is already stated in the autopsy report. The court would like to hear more details about the incident itself. Yes, sir, I gotcha. Okay, let's take a look at this aerial map of the area here. And this is a sketch of Dusky Bridge, an old suspension bridge. And the river that runs under there is Eagle River. The victim and the defendant met there, on top of the bridge. After stabbing her in the back, the killer carried the victim back to his car. He was recaptured at a police checkpoint as he was trying to make his getaway, sir. I see. Was the victim's blood found on the bridge? The victim, Sergeant Valerie Hawthorne, was wearing a thick coat, sir. Unfortunately, no traces of blood were found on the bridge. Mr. Edgeworth, I warn you that I absolutely despise conjecture. If there was no blood on the bridge, then you have no proof that they even met there.
Your Honor, if you would listen to the testimony we have prepared, I'm sure you'll be convinced. The two of them most certainly did meet on the bridge that day. Why, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not sure I like you wagging your finger at me as though I was some hoser. Detective, proceed with your testimony.
Yes, sir.
Here we go, Mia. Hang on. Okay, now, listen carefully, kitten. One little mistake, and this guy will drink you for morning tea. Trust me and get ready.
On the day of the incident, an unknown person phoned the sergeant and asked to meet. Sergeant Hawthorne went to Dusky Bridge at the designated time and met with Mr. Falls. And that's where she was brutally murdered, sir. The criminal stuffed her body into his car trunk and tried to make a getaway. Mr. Falls was arrested at a police checkpoint we set up at the base of the mountain. Well, you certainly have established the importance of the bridge.
Naturally. Now, would the defense please hurry up and proceed with the cross-examination? Yes, Your Honor. Cross-examination coming right up. Hey, settle down there, kitten. If you keep trembling like that, you're gonna make me spill my coffee. Took you that long to notice?
Yeah.
I'm not trembling. It's just cold in here. The courtroom can be a cold battlefield, all right. Especially for a beginner. I don't need you to worry about me. I mean the defendant, the witness. Everyone's a beginner in here. Ha! You got me there. But maybe you should keep your claws out and show them what you got, kitten. It's okay, Mia. Stay calm. Just remember those court procedure videos you stayed up all last night watching.
On the day of the incident, an unknown person phoned the sergeant and asked to meet.
Oh, wrong button. Go back. This unknown person, you have no idea who it might be, right?
Sorry, but I'm afraid I do.
What?
The one who called Sergeant Hawthorne was the defendant, Terry Falls. What? The defendant? The defendant called her? Sergeant Hawthorne was a very thorough person, sir. She left a note about her phone call with Mr. Falls.
A note?
Yeah, top secret memo that you left in a desk.
If she knew who called her, then why did we say it was an unknown person, you midwit?
That's what I was just gonna say. If you name the person who called, then it's not an unknown person.
According to this note, it seems the one who called her to the bridge was indeed the defendant, Terry Falls.
Whose bright idea was it to keep that note from me? Ah, looks like the judge is even more sure of his verdict now. Listen up. Never ask a question if you don't already know the answer. It's that detective's fault. He's the one that said unknown person.
Hey, now, don't make that face with me. I just said it that way because the prosecutor told me to.
Is that a trap? With that cute face, I didn't expect him to be so sneaky.
Sergeant Hawthorne went to Dusky Bridge at the designated time and met with Mr. Falls.
Let me check a little bit on that note, because I think that's going to be important. Okay, so Falls allegedly said at 4:30 p.m., or said to meet at 4:30 p.m. at that bridge, wear white scarf for identification. Talk to Dahlia, tell her this time the whole truth must come out. Okay. A bridge up in the mountains? But why meet there?
Because it is a very important place to the defendant. That's why. What do you mean by that?
If you remember 5 years ago, the defendant kidnapped a young girl. He was chased onto a bridge, and it was there that he killed his hostage. And the place where all of this occurred is, of course, Dusky Bridge.
The very place where Sergeant Hawthorne had arrested... Words, can't say them. The very place where Sergeant Hawthorne arrested and handcuffed Mr. Falls. Too much ramen, I tell you.
Ha! Returning to the scene of the crime. How nostalgic.
And that's where she was...
Getting my voices mixed up now.
And that's where she was brutally murdered, sir.
Was the body of the victim discovered right away?
Yeah, we were really on the ball. We found the criminal within 1 hour of the murder. It was great! We even got to say, don't move, we got you surrounded.
Wait a second. Isn't there something weird about that? The location was a suspension bridge up in the mountains. So how did they find out about the crime so quickly? Sergeant Hawthorne must have mentioned the phone call to someone else, right? If that's what had happened, then she wouldn't have been killed.
She never mentioned the phone call from Mr. Falls, but she left a note on her desk about it. If only I'd noticed it earlier, maybe she'd still be alive.
I wonder why she didn't mention the phone call to anyone.
The criminal stuffed her body into his car trunk and tried to make a getaway.
Mr. Falls had a car, then?
Well, that bridge is way up in the mountains, ma'am. The defendant and the victim both went up there by car. I mean, how else, right? What? You mean the defendant drove his own car? No, of course not. It was stolen. He stole it from a young couple that had been waiting at a red light. Huh. Car thieves. I'm not sure how I feel about car thieves.
Is this guy sure about how he feels about anything?
This is a photo of the stolen car's trunk. Naturally, that's the body of Valerie Hawthorne in there. Oh, that doesn't look too comfortable.
Of course not.
Well, I mean, to be fair, she was kind of dead, so
Well,
I don't think her comfort really mattered at that point.
Exactly.
The victim, she was stabbed in the back, correct?
Yeah.
Ha! For some reason, men always seem to get stabbed in the back. We're talking about a woman here.
You can't tell from this photo, but the knife was stuck in her back nice and firm. The condition of the body when it was discovered is very important information. Detective, was there anything strange or noteworthy in the trunk of the car? Here's a photo of the trunk, but I don't see anything strange, do you? Anyway.
I do. The victim's note. Wear white scarf for identification.
Where's your scarf?
Exactly. Okay.
Objection!
Witness!
What is it? Do you have something to say, Miss Fay?
I'm sorry. I totally forgot what I was going to say. This is the first time I've ever actually had to address someone like that.
You should have practiced before coming to court. Honestly, Miss Fay, I'm not sure I like this.
Say there, little kitten. Want a piece of my coffee candy? Candy? Well, you're still too young to be drinking real coffee. Come on, Mia, shake it off. You're a lawyer. Detective!
Yes, ma'am.
This photo. You said that there was nothing peculiar about it. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well, then I suggest you take another look at the note written by the victim.
The note?
It very clearly says wear white scarf for identification. The caller must have forgotten what the victim looked like, thus the special request.
I
have one very simple question for you, Detective. Where is the white scarf? I can't seem to find it in this photo.
Well, to be honest, we didn't find it in the trunk, ma'am.
And you stopped there? You should have looked for it!
Ah! The caller told her to wear it to identify herself, so I'd expect she did just that. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you have to say about this?
Blabbers have been gasted. That's
I
why.
see the defense is a little lacking. The scarf you are searching so desperately for. Is it this one, perchance?
Ah! Where did you find that, sir?
On Dusky Bridge, I was there first and decided to conduct my own investigation.
Why? Why did you tell me?
I made a decision to keep all pieces of evidence in my personal satchel. It's the safest place I know. That hotshot sure has a flair for the dramatic. It's not exactly white, as the caller requested, but as you can see, it's close enough for what it was intended for.
It looks like it spent some time in the mud.
Not surprising, it was drizzling on the mountain that day. Prosecutor Edgeworth, he was intentionally hiding that scarf the whole time.
The court will accept the scarf into evidence.
Now, if the attorney for the defense is finished embarrassing herself, I'd like to move on with a testimony. That is all right with you, isn't it, Miss Fay? Boy, would I like to wrap this scarf around his smarmy little neck. Very good. Now, if we're done with this mud-covered scarf business, the prosecution moves to establish conclusively and with hard evidence that Miss Hawthorne and Mr. Falls did indeed meet on the bridge that day. Further, we will show exactly what occurred there.
That sounds quite promising. Can't wait to hear it all about it.
Everything is moving at his whim. Don't forget, kitten. There's a reason why everybody considers this kid a genius. A genius, huh?
I mean, honestly, he can't be much of a genius if he's been bested by Phoenix.
Old age has gotten him rusty, I guess.
So...
Actually, there's an eyewitness who was there when the incident took place. This photo was accidentally taken by the witness. It shows the Vic wearing the scarf, sir. It was drizzling that day, unfortunately. It's a little hard to see what's going on. Anyway, the criminal shoved the victim down from behind and stabbed her in the back. This must have been when the scarf fell off. Looking at this photo, you really get the sense that this bridge is very high up.
It is about a 40-foot drop from the bridge to the Eagle River down below.
Mr. Edgeworth, who took this photo anyway?
Let's just say that it was a well-intentioned third party.
Aha! A potential witness! So why isn't this person in the courtroom? Well, they said they absolutely did not want to testify.
The person in question is very delicate, Your Honor. Besides, as long as we have this photo, we see no reason to compel them to testify.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
So, as you can see, Terry Falls had both the motive and the opportunity. I think it's quite clear at this point what happened on that bridge.
Aha! The truth is becoming clear to me now.
Huh?
Yes, it's quite obvious. He's clearly guilty.
Not again! That's not fair! I haven't even done my cross-examination yet. What do you mean,
Actually, there's an eyewitness who was there when the incident took place.
Who is this eyewitness?
She's a college student.
Female college student?
That's right, meaning she's female and a college student, ma'am. She doesn't do well in front of other people, so I came to testify for her.
Maybe so, but as the attorney for the defense, I have the right to cross-examine her.
Objection!
For the time being, we're not relying on the witness's statements. That is all. What is that supposed to mean? The prosecution has other, more decisive evidence. Our case doesn't rest on the vague testimony of a female college student.
A female college student, eh? I mean, she's female and a college student, sir.
If you absolutely must hear her testimony, you'll have to give us a good reason why.
Please tell us about the more decisive evidence in question. This photo was accidentally taken by the witness. It shows the Vic wearing the scarf, sir.
The victim is wearing a scarf in that photo, all right. So, about the witness who took this photo, what was this person doing all the way in the mountains?
She was taking photos of wildflowers, apparently.
There are many unusual types of flora on that mountain, Miss Faye. People in the area say it's because of the spirits that live there.
Spirits? Now that you mention it, this photo, this cloudy fog-like thing, is it a ghost? I don't believe it. No, Your Honor, no, I don't think it's a ghost. It was drizzling that day, unfortunately. It's a little hard to see what's going on.
Drizzling, huh?
That's right. There was a light rain coming down. The whole place was dreary. Not as dreary as the mood that's in this courtroom right now. Looks like a cold front just moved in.
In any case, the point is that the area was quite damp. There was even some fog.
I even slipped and fell while I was on the bridge. It was really something. Anyway, the criminal shoved the victim down from behind and stabbed her in the back.
He's standing in front of her.
Is that part of the witness's testimony as well?
Of course it is. He pushed the victim hard in the back and she fell down right on his stomach. I remember that happening once myself. It was really brutal.
Are you talking about seeing someone get pushed, or were you the one getting pushed? Or does that mean that you pushed someone down like that once? His mind-boggling tales and the way he said brutal. I wonder if he's Canadian. Ha! Save your nasty look for the right person. Huh? Take a look. Poor baby. The court record seems to have wet itself. Hey! Watch where you spill your coffee! Court record, huh? Yeah, that... I feel like I'm walking right into a trap here, but...
Objection!
No? This evidence establishes that the defendant is lying, right? Don't ask me to confirm your facts! Sorry, this is my first time handling a case.
Well, let's make it a memorable occasion with a penalty.
And here I thought he would go easy on me because I'm new. Criminal shoved the victim down from behind, stabbed her in the back.
But there's no reason why he could have done that because he was standing in front of her.
Yeah, I know, but when I present the witness's photo of him standing in the front of her, nothing happened. Crime photo. Where's her hat? She's wearing a hat in the photo. Maybe there's something in the profiles? Police officer and the victim. Key witness in the case against Falls 5 years ago. Terry Falls, my client, sentenced to death 5 years ago, escaped from custody 2 days ago. Yeah.
That must have been when the scarf fell off.
So in other words, there was a struggle between the criminal and the victim, huh?
That's what the witness said. Well, it looks like she didn't remember about the scarf. But from what she said, it sounded like a pretty violent fight, ma'am.
The area was wet from rain. The bridge was probably wet too, which would explain why the scarf was all covered in mud, but there's something about this testimony that's still bothering me. Talk about a surprise. I had no idea there was a photo. So, what do I do? You really still believe him? Mr. Crybaby, I mean? Of course I do! Huh. So a little kitten believes in fairy tales, huh? In that case, the answer's obvious. If what you believe is the truth, then that means that somewhere hidden in that testimony is a contradiction. One huge contradiction waiting to be discovered. That's your chance. Okay. Shows the Vic wearing the scarf. Maybe I'm supposed to present the fact that she was stabbed in the back with the autopsy report to the picture?
Objection!
No, that's not it either. Your Honor, what do you think of the witness's statement? I don't think anything of it. How about you? I guess I don't think anything of it either. If it was a violent fight, wouldn't that be on the autopsy? One would think.
And we don't have a problem, but we do have a penalty.
It wasn't a problem. Couldn't he have just let it slide? Alright, I'm gonna save here. Because while it does show the victim wearing the scarf, she's also wearing a hat.
Hold it!
Oh, wrong button. And if I show the photo of the car...
Objection!
No, that didn't work. Alright, let me load. Okay, drizzling that day. Criminal shoved the victim down from behind, stabbed her in the back. Oh! I think I have to present the picture of the victim.
Objection!
Aha! So at the time of the crime, there was a light drizzle coming down, correct?
Yeah, and fog too. Just a generally soggy atmosphere.
Well, I have evidence that doesn't go with the soggy atmosphere.
But this is a photo of the victim's body that was found in the car trunk.
Considering the conditions at the scene of the crime, something isn't right.
Well, by all means, please enlighten us as to what isn't right. What is it about this photo of the trunk that doesn't fit with the conditions that day?
The fact that the victim's coat is in pristine condition?
Take that!
Naturally, the answer is right here.
The victim's coat? As far as I can see, there's nothing strange about it.
That's exactly what's strange. Recall the testimony. What were the conditions on the bridge that day? It was drizzling and foggy. Dusky Bridge was all wet. If the victim really had fallen down on her stomach on top of the bridge, then the front of her coat should have been covered in mud.
Ugh. That's exactly right. The other day I fell on a muddy street and my gorgeous playoff beard was befouled.
I do admit that the crime scene was quite wet that day. However, that doesn't mean that the top of the bridge itself was muddy. If Your Honor had fallen in the shower instead of on a muddy street, your glorious hockey beard, the pride of the legal league, would be wet, but not muddy.
Fortunately, I have yet to test that. Still, your point is well taken.
Can you prove that the surface of the bridge was muddy that day? Surface of the bridge, huh? Ha, a real man wouldn't stand for a taunt like this. Neither would a real woman. Of course I can. Here's the evidence that proves the surface of the bridge was muddy. Well, one would think, but let me take a look at the not the crime photo. Let me look at the witness's photo. Yeah, we don't see any mud in the photo. So, yeah, we found it on Dusky Bridge. So, yeah. The evidence is this scarf. Ah! It should be obvious. If the scarf fell onto the bridge and got this muddy, it means that the bridge was obviously covered in mud. Ugh! No, I can't be outwitted by this novice bimbo. Hey, same to you, buddy.
Miss Faye's assertion makes perfect sense to me.
I do admit that there appears to be a contradiction between the condition of the victim's coat and her scarf. However, the real question is, why is there a contradiction? Huh? For every contradiction, there exists an explanation. Let's look at what the explanation in this case may be, shall we? Alright. It's not like he's really giving me a choice here. Ha! You're doing pretty well for a little kitten. Mr. Armando. No matter what he says, contradiction always comes down to a lie. It's either the victim discovered in the trunk, the witness's photo showing the defendant and the victim, or the witness's testimony that stated she saw the motive of the murder. Just relax and think it over. It's pretty simple, isn't it? The false evidence. It's one of those three.
What you said just now, I'm not sure I like that.
That wasn't me, Your Honor. It was the coffee aficionado over here that said it.
This court is not in the habit of accepting false evidence, you know.
Blame it on him, Your Honor. He's the one trying to slip false evidence into court. But we won't let him. We'll expose his evidence to the flimsy scam it really is. Yes! The false evidence in this case is the witness's testimony. It's a no-brainer. Obviously, it's the witness that's suspicious. During his earlier testimony, the detective pointed out a crucial fact. The criminal shoved the victim down from behind and stabbed her in the back. Now, is that testimony exactly what the witness claims to have seen?
Yeah, that's what the witness told us.
That testimony is filled with holes. After all, the victim's coat isn't dirty at all.
That's true.
Ha! It's not just true, it's the truth. There was a truly decisive witness in this case. Oh, thank you for the follow. I did not realize you were not already following. Thank you. I'm certain that boy Wonder over there would have called him in the first place. Your Honor, the defense requests to cross-examine the eyewitness. The testimony presented so far is not only vague, but contradictory as well.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, it appears that we'll need to hear from your mystery witness after all.
You should brace yourself for the brutal truth. Your Honor, the prosecution has no intention of hiding the witness from the court. We are prepared to present our witness at any time.
Very well. Please bring forth your witness at this time.
Mr. Edgeworth said kind of worries me. What does he mean by the brutal truth?
Now, let's proceed with the testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, please go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. The prosecution summons the woman who saw the events that day with her very own eyes. This is it, Mia. The battle begins here. Witness, what is your name and occupation?
Oh! Her? Her?
Yes, her.
She's gotta be the murderer!
Everyone is so silent that I can hear their hearts going pitter-patter.
Oh. When I look at you, how can I put it? You look as scrumptious as a double-double and a dozen donut holes. I feel like I want to hurry up and hand down a verdict just to have a bite.
The she-devil, she says. Hey, not so fast! As I said before, this witness is very sensitive and delicate. I would ask... Thank you. I would ask the court to please exercise care when addressing her.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. You're a true gentleman. Miss Fay, you could learn a lot from this man.
If he's such a gentleman, he sure doesn't act like one to me. Sir?
Yes, my dear.
This is my first time, so I'm sure I'll make a lot of mistakes. Anyway, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for all the trouble I might cause.
Not at all. It's no trouble at all.
Now then, may we please have your name and occupation? My name is, Melissa Foster. I'm a college student, a freshman in the literature department. You were on the scene when the unfortunate event occurred, correct? And you were the one who took this photo? Is that accurate? How can you be so mean?
Now see here, what are you doing shoving that in her face like that?
But it's just a photograph. It's not like it's something dangerous.
Next time I'll be forced to penalize you.
I'm sure she says that. This is my first time, she says. I'm sure she says that to all the men. Please, she's probably like one of those spiders that kills its mate after mating.
Black Widow? Or she's a praying mantis disguised as a spider.
She's like a spider waiting for the kill. Cruella, Cruella DeVille.
Oh, I don't like the turn this is taken. Is she staring at me? And you would be? Huh? I'm the defense attorney. My name is Mia Fey. I see. So you are...
Now then, young lady, could you please give us your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll do my best. I was using my camera to take some pictures of wildflowers. Then I noticed there were two people standing up on the suspension bridge. Suddenly they just started fighting. That's when I hurried and took the photo that shows the crucial moment. And right after that, I called the police.
By the way, where were you standing when the incident occurred?
I believe the map would be of help here. I was standing right over here. I was standing in a beautiful field surrounded by tall cliffs.
So you took the photo from that location, eh?
I brought the camera I was using at the time, just like Mr. Edgeworth asked me to.
Oh, what a cute camera! Just like its owner.
They're both witches.
It's a Japanese game. Everybody's that way, I think. I'm actually surprised that the localizers didn't try toning it down more than they probably already did. Probably doesn't really work if they do that, though, so we
Yeah.
kind of had to keep it. Thank God. It's bad enough that they have to change everything else. Anyway. Let's see. Melissa Foster took the witness's photo with this, a small but powerful model.
All right then, Miss Faye, time for your cross-examination. But I warn you, make the witness cry again and you'll feel the wrath of my gavel.
I was using my camera to take some pictures of wildflowers.
Can you show us the pictures of the wildflowers in your camera reel? I wish that was a question I could ask.
Hold it!
Did you say wildflowers? Yes, the mountain is famous for its beautiful spring wildflowers.
But it's only February.
Well, I couldn't wait for spring to come.
Oh, I know just how you feel. It's just like when I first started growing this glorious beard of mine. I just couldn't wait, so I wore a dyed blonde Santa beard until mine grew in properly.
Would you mind if we got back to the facts of this case, Your Honor? Why are all the characters always simps? That I don't know.
Then I noticed there were two people standing up on the suspension bridge.
Hold it!
Was there anything strange about the two of them?
I'm a bad girl. I know I am. It looked like they were having a really serious conversation up there. So I decided to watch them, like some kind of peeping Tom.
No, not at all. Everyone is like that. I love watching other people fight too. In fact, I can't get enough of it. Actually, that's why I took this job in the first place.
Too much info, Your Honor.
In any case, it's perfectly natural for you to have kept watching them. Especially dressed as they were.
Well, anyway, I was watching them very closely. Suddenly, they just started fighting.
I'm a bad girl, I know I am. I'm like a peeping Tom. You. Yes, she's the devil.
Hold it!
Do you have any idea what they were fighting about?
No, I have no idea. Why do you ask that?
Oh, I just thought that maybe you overheard what they said.
I would never eavesdrop. I've got more class than that.
That's right, Miss Faye. Don't drag the witness down to your level.
That's when I hurried and took the photo that shows the crucial moment.
So she's not above peeping, but she is above eavesdropping.
I'm a bad girl. I'm a peeping Tom. But I draw the line at eavesdropping. That's just horrible. Only degenerates do such things.
Well, lady, you are one, so...
That's when I hurried and took the photo that shows the crucial moment.
Hold it!
Why did you take a photo?
Well, the two of them were really going at it. Ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a news reporter. I guess that part of me just kind of took over.
Smells like a lie to me.
Yes, I understand completely. Even now, I can't completely abandon my boyhood dreams. I still use my grandson to test my comedy routines on.
So he wanted to be a comedian, huh? Not that it has any bearing on this.
All I could do was to use my camera.
The name and red hair are very unfortunate, given our mutual friend and how unalike they are. Or the name. Yeah, well, Melissa ain't her real name, at least. Like, if you had seen the first case, you'd know that her name, at least in that case, was Dahlia Hawthorne, so...
Wasn't the victim...
Valerie
Hawthorne?
Hawthorne? Yes.
That's her sister.
Hypothetically, yes.
All I could do was to use my camera. So I took the photo of the crucial moment and gave it to the police. And right after that, I called the police.
You called the police?
Yes, because it looked to me like the murderer was going to try to escape.
We were already moving before the call even came in. Thanks to the victim's note, we had already started our operation.
That was certainly tough luck for the criminal, eh?
If Terry Falls isn't the criminal, then there must be something strange in that girl's testimony.
Be careful, kitten. That girl has a judge wrapped right around her little finger. You're gonna have a tough time poking holes in that testimony of hers.
You're gonna have to come up with something really good, Mia.
Alright, so let's take a look at our evidence. We have a small but powerful model of a camera. The witness's photo. Okay. Let's look at the map. Okay, that fits. Double check this again. Okay, I don't see anything inherently wrong with this picture yet. Confidential police materials written by the victim. 4:30 p.m. At that bridge, wear white scarf for identification. Talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time the whole truth must come out. Let's see. Stabbed with a knife in the back. Died from blood loss between 4 and 5 p.m.
Who's this Dahlia person? Is that this chick?
Dahlia Hawthorne?
Yeah, this chick.
Like, unless you know of a second Dahlia, I don't know who else it could be. Let's see. Witness's photo seems to have been taken by the witness. Scarf was worn by the victim at the time of the incident. Noticed 2 people standing up on the suspension bridge. Suddenly, they just started fighting. That's when you hurried and took the photo that shows... Oh! She took the photo that shows the crucial moment. There we go. There's her contradiction. Derp. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed this, but... They ain't doing anything in this photo. Witness, when you said you took a photo of the crucial moment, is this what you meant? All I can see in this photo are 2 people facing each other. You testified that you saw the 2 of them starting to fight. Normally, that's the kind of thing we would refer to as a crucial moment. Why haven't you presented a photo like that?
Well, you see...
The photo we presented was the only one there was.
But if you really wanted to capture the crucial moment, then what happened next? You must have taken a photo of it.
Oh! My apologies, young lady. But Miss Faye's assertion is not without a certain amount of merit.
He certainly can downplay a situation, can't he? I'm sorry. I'm a very bad girl. I used it all up. The film, I mean.
You ran out of film?
This photo was the last one. What?
Unfortunately, that is the truth. I personally examined all the photographs she took that day. All the other photos are of the witness herself playing among the wildflowers.
The witness herself? Then who took the photos? Well, you see, my camera has a timer feature built into it. So you took photos of yourself?
I remember taking some photos of myself once, too.
Please, no details.
It seems that Miss Faye's assertion was not so decisive after all.
But wait, just a minute.
Well, if she had no film left, she couldn't very well take more pictures, eh?
Miss Foster, perhaps then you could tell us about a different sort of photo. Photos of the incident that you took with your very own eyes.
Mr. Edgeworth, you're quite the poet.
Very well, then. Let's get back to the cross-examination. Let's hear your thoughts on the fight that you witnessed.
Yes, Mr. Judge.
Boy, this guy really is a sucker for sweet talk. Ha! It looks like the other kitten in the room is the one that's getting all the attention. Yeah, it's sickening.
I was using my camera to take some pictures of wildflowers. Then I noticed there were two people standing up on the suspension bridge. Suddenly, they just started fighting. The victim turned around and tried to run away, but...
Here we go. The victim. Why do you think she tried to run away? With her police training, she certainly knew better than to turn her back on a criminal.
Objection!
This was a large, powerful man with a knife. If it had been a quaggy woman like you, I'm sure she would have acted differently. Quaggy? What in God's name does that even mean? Alright, hold on here. Quaggy. Marshy. Flabby. Mia may be a lot of things. I do not believe flabby could even remotely be considered that.
I mean, you might be flabby. The judge is flabby.
Oh yeah, the judge is certainly. Certainly. Did he just call her swampy? I mean... Let's see, marshy. Oh, stupid ads, I'm like... Resembling or constituting a marsh, relating to or occurring in marshes. Okay, that's kind of what I figured. So, the other option is flabby, which, of course... Lacking resilience or firmness. Okay. When I heard of the word flabby, I thought it meant, like...
Basically.
I thought it meant, like, fat. So, flabby meaning lacking resilience or firmness, or weak and ineffective. That...
If it had been me, I probably would have jumped into the river.
There's still something wrong with this testimony. She only got about 10 yards before she was stabbed in the back.
I get the feeling that that's... Let's see, bridges are... How? Because the picture has... The picture shows the edge of that cliff, and it shows the length of 5 yards. Like, she was at the very edge of the walkable bridge. At least according to the cliff's location in the picture. So I'm gonna say BS.
Objection!
Witness, your testimony is a joke. Huh? What? But I just...
Miss Faye, I thought I warned you not to make the witness cry.
One short testimony and 2 bad contradictions. There's no possible excuse.
You say there were 2 contradictions?
It's simple. Just take a look at the diagram of the area. According to her testimony, the 2 of them were in the middle of the bridge. But if they were, and the victim had turned around and tried to run, well then...
She would have hit a dead end.
You said 10 yards, but she couldn't have ran even 5. Because Dusky Bridge is collapsed on that side.
What does this all mean?
It's very simple, Your Honor. This charming little witness told a charming little lie. That's all there is to it.
This beautiful young lady has been lying to the court?
Objection!
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Your Honor, allow me to personally apologize for the confusion.
What do you mean?
There's one major mistake in this diagram.
What did you say?
What are you referring to?
It's all because this diagram was made after the incident occurred. It's a very old bridge. We couldn't find any official blueprints of it.
So you're saying...
I'm saying that even though this bridge is currently in disrepair, there's no evidence that can prove that the bridge was broken during the incident. That's ridiculous! You can't actually tell the condition of the bridge from this photo. I apologize to the court for not being more clear when I presented the evidence.
No, that would not fly in court at all.
Well, this is Ace Attorney land. Ha! That guy is good. Huh? What do you mean? He planned it from the beginning. He's a genius, all right. That diagram of the bridge was his insurance policy.
What? That coward!
Well, Miss Fay, it seems you've once again made a reckless accusation.
I'm so sorry. I should have been more careful myself.
No. It wasn't your fault at all.
Now then, shall we go on with the trial? I'd like to establish once and for all what it was that the witness actually saw.
Indeed. All right, young lady. May I ask you to please proceed with your testimony?
But it's so hard to go on.
Well, I'll on your side, Miss Foster.
There's no need to worry, just tell us what you saw.
Yes, sir.
I do appreciate, at least, that Edgeworth isn't simping for her. He's got more class than that.
After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms. Then he carried her over to the car. I suppose that was the only way he could make sure the body stayed hidden. He couldn't just leave the body on top of the bridge.
Lady, there is a way that you can hide the body very easily without involving the car. And it has everything to do with that bridge.
You just punt it over off the side.
Earlier in the trial, they said people that fall into that river are sometimes never recovered. In other words, there is a very good chance that someone would be found inside the car, but a unlikely chance that someone would be found in the river.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm only supposed to talk about what I saw.
There's also a limit to how much you can see around the cliff, I'd assume. Yes, that is another very good point.
Witnessing such violence must have been difficult.
Yes, sir. I'm still shaken up.
If he accepts his testimony as it is, we're finished.
Don't say that!
Oh well. Maybe I'll stop off at my favorite cafe on the way home. They make a really great mocha latte.
This trial isn't over yet!
Ha! That's what I like to hear.
All right, Miss Fay, your cross-examination, if you please.
Contradiction is staring you right in the face, Mia. Go on the attack. After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms. Then he carried her over to the car.
Alright. I'm going to try... Well, no, I'm going to save here because I get the feeling that something's not going to quite work right. Because this makes sense in my mind, but I don't think it'll make sense to the game. So if I present the witness's photo, it should show the edge of the cliff, which should theoretically block the car.
Objection!
Yeah, see? I knew it. Alright, let me load that up. I'll press it then.
Hold it!
You personally witnessed that? Yes.
Did anything strange happen when he did that?
Well, I don't know if you'd call it strange or not, but that's when the victim's scarf fell off.
You mean this scarf?
Her words match what we found at the scene. I don't see any problem. Oh, hi, kitty.
I suppose that was the only way he could make sure the body stayed hidden.
Hold it!
You mean the defendant carried the body all by himself?
Yes.
Considering the size of the defendant, I don't think it would be difficult.
Yes, but let's remember they were on a narrow bridge that was ready to collapse. Is it even possible for him to have carried a dead body on a bridge like that?
Objection!
Cliffs are on the map too, maybe? Yeah, I'll try that later, perhaps. Well, the fact of the matter is that he did. That kind of talk is just silly. Wow, why did he get so emotional all of a sudden?
Miss Fay, if you think there's some other possibility, please share it with the rest of us.
He couldn't just leave the body on top of the bridge.
Hold it!
Why do you say that? It's already a broken down bridge hidden away in the mountains. Doing anything more to hide the corpse would be going overboard, wouldn't it?
Yes, but that mountain is famous among hikers. A surprising number of people go up there.
But it's February, right? And it was raining that day, correct?
There is also a small temple and channeling dojo there. You know those monks, they just love cold, isolated places.
I think the witness is trying to say that the corpse could have been found at any time. Besides, the witness is merely reporting what she witnessed with her own eyes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm only supposed to talk about what I saw.
Hold it!
And you're absolutely certain that it was my client who was carrying the body?
Well, he was wearing a prisoner's uniform, but as for his face...
So you're saying you didn't get a clear look at his face?
Well, they were far away and it was raining as well. I thought I was only supposed to say exactly what I saw.
Excellent! You're a remarkably honest young woman.
Something about this testimony is bothering me, but what? Hey, kitten. You ever put salt in your coffee? No, why would I? Why not? Huh? May actually go better with coffee than sugar, right? Listen, my point is, if you're not sure, you might as well add a ton of salt to it. It might bring out the rust in something, like a piece of evidence. He's right, Mia. Go present something. You've got nothing to lose. By the way, I wouldn't put salt in my coffee. The two don't go well after all. I mean, yeah, you can add a little salt during the brewing process. That's not too bad, but only a few granules.
Okay, after he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms.
Are you saying that the victim didn't fall down on the bridge?
Actually, maybe she did fall.
Of course she didn't fall down on the bridge. If she had fallen down, this photo wouldn't make any sense. If that was the case, her coat would have been all muddy.
Objection!
If you don't mind, I was asking the witness. No need to be so rude. Well, young lady.
Of course she didn't fall down. The man in the prison uniform grabbed her before she could.
Ha! One step too slow. And then what did the defendant do after that?
Then he carried her over to the car.
Okay, so... let's see. Alright, I'm gonna save again. And... this time we're gonna present the map.
Objection!
No, that didn't work. Okay, let's see. Options. Let me see what we have. For evidence, bridge located 40 feet above Eagle River. Yeah, there's no way she could have seen the car.
Is this the only case that Mia's lost?
Who said she loses?
Well, obviously, this person doesn't go to jail until they get into the game.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Mia lost. Okay. Let me try... Oh, wrong button. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's try the map.
Objection!
The map. And try the photo.
Objection!
No. Huh. She shouldn't be able to have seen the fact that he carried her over to the car. It wasn't the only way to make sure the body stayed hidden, because they're literally over a bridge. me see. No, not that. Alright, maybe if I present the bridge map over, that was the only way he could make sure the body stayed hidden.
Objection!
There we go. The killer not wanting his victim to be found. I can understand that. However, the idea of moving the body for that purpose is clearly odd. There was a much easier way to make sure the body wasn't found.
Well, what is it?
Take another look at the map of the area and you'll see how. There's a river right below the bridge. Earlier, Mr. Edgeworth pointed out something interesting about the river. For those who are not aware, Eagle River is well known for its powerful current. Most bodies that fall in are never recovered.
Ah,
In the kidnapping case 5 years ago, the victim's body was carried away and never found. If 10 murders would occur at that same spot above the Eagle River, you can bet your boots that every other killer would have tossed the body in the water.
order, order, order. I'm not sure if I care for the way you put that, Miss Fay, but I must admit it does seem odd to not have thrown the body into the river. Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
How sad. Perhaps Miss Fay would do well to try taking a dip in the river herself. After all, you claim to be such an expert in the ways of nature. What are you talking about? My point is that no matter how odd you may find the killer's method of body disposal, the fact is that this is what the killer did. None of your arguments have anything to do with what the witness saw. Well, frankly, her statement didn't have anything to do with what she saw, but okay.
Quite true. Miss Fay, it seems that your assertion is without merit after all.
Objection!
But what the witness claims to have seen is totally ridiculous! Surely you can't deny that the body was found in the trunk of the car.
That's certainly consistent with what the witness has told us.
Please, witness, go on with your testimony.
I'll try.
All you have to do is tell us only what you saw. Otherwise, the mean lady might yell at you again.
Who is he talking about? All right, I'll do my best. After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms. Then he carried her over to the car. The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there.
How can you know this?
Hold it!
What did the man do then?
Well, naturally, he got in the car and was about to flee. That's when I came to my senses. I said to myself, you have to call the police.
And so that's when you called the police? You're sure that you saw all that with your own eyes?
Yes, I'm 100% certain.
Okay. She said it in the press conversation, so that's good enough for me. I'm going to present the map again.
Objection!
Well, Miss Foster, it looks like you've done it this time.
Done what?
Made a crucial mistake.
A crucial mistake? Like what, Miss Fay?
The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there.
You're saying you saw that, right? With your very own eyes?
Yes, and?
It's simple, Miss Foster. Take a look at the diagram. The place you claim to have taken the photo from that day is here. Do you see what I mean? Even if you tried to see the car, this outcropping of rock is directly in the way. That's right, Miss Foster. From where you were standing, you could not have possibly seen the killer's car. I admit that the diagram shows a large outcropping of rock. However, it isn't so tall that it would stop her from seeing the car.
That's right. It's not high at all. I was able to see his car just fine.
I don't like it. They're changing the facts to fit their narrative.
No, that was Edgeworth back in the day. I'm so sorry, but that just doesn't wash. I believe it was the witness who presented this as evidence to the court, yes?
This is the location that the photo was taken from. Your own photo tells the whole story. You can clearly see the left side of the bridge, but the outcropping that is being referred to is really more like a cliff.
Ah!
Your view should have been completely cut off by this cliff, but you still claim to have been able to see the killer's car. No!
Order in the court. What is the meaning of all this ballyhoo?
Your Honor, don't jump to any hasty conclusions. The fact that the escapee fled in a stolen car was reported on the news. After witnessing a murder, I'm sure you can appreciate that the witness was very upset. She must have heard about the stolen car and convinced herself that she saw it.
Objection!
But she was repeatedly warned before starting her testimony. She was told to testify only about what she saw with her own eyes.
Oh!
Mr. Judge?
What is it?
I think I must have remembered things wrong.
Hold it!
Hey, wait a minute! You can't just say that!
Miss Fay, no one on the face of the planet is perfect.
Yes, indeed. Quite true. You know what they say. To err is human, to forgive divine. I'm inclined to give the benefit of the doubt to our witness here.
What? That's not fair!
That's perjury right there.
Ha! Save the tears for later, kitten.
Mr. Armando?
Don't look back until the trial is over. Now's the time to go forward.
But that wasn't fair!
Okay, kitten, you need to relax, then you need to remember. The other kitten's testimony.
The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there.
So tell me, how did she know that? How did she know that he broke into the trunk?
Aha!
Well, Miss Foster, until you can explain how you knew that, you're gonna have a lot of very suspicious people on this side of the courtroom.
Well, witness?
Well, I'm certain that he broke into the trunk because there were marks left on the trunk lid. I'm certain they were scratch marks from when he broke into it.
What? Let me see that photo. It's true. These certainly look like scratch marks around the keyhole. It's obvious that this trunk has been broken open. Well, Miss Fay, are you satisfied?
Judge is on her side. I can't make any mistakes here. What she just said, is there a contradiction in there somewhere? Doesn't work. Melissa Foster, it looks like you finally betrayed yourself. What? You said you were in a field taking photos of wildflowers, but even so, you knew about the scratches. The question is when? When did you get a chance to see those scratches? I finally got her.
Ha! I'm getting pretty tired of waiting over here. Then perhaps it would be faster if Miss Fay explained herself.
Your Honor, there's only one possible explanation. The reason the witness had seen the scratches was...
She put the corpse in herself.
There's only one way that the witness had the chance to see those scratches.
Yes? What is it?
Naturally, when she opened the trunk and stuffed the corpse in herself. The person who really hid the body in the trunk of that car was... Melissa Foster. It was you that did it, wasn't it? That's ridiculous. I could never. It was the man in the prison guard. He's the one that... I don't think so, Miss Foster. If Mr. Falls had been the one that put the corpse in the trunk, he would have simply used the car key. There was no need to break it open. But he stole the car.
You could steal the car.
He stole it from a young couple that had been waiting at a red light, which means that the key would have still been in the ignition. Oh, I see. Thank you for telling us about the scratches, Miss Foster. Without that, we never would have uncovered the truth. That it couldn't have been Mr. Falls that put the body in the trunk. No!
preposterous to even suggest the witness put the body in there. If that were true, then how do you explain the photo that she took? The corpse could only have been put in the trunk when the incident occurred. And we already know that at the time, she was taking photographs.
That's on a timer, you dimwit.
Now's your chance, Mia. Finish this thing. On the contrary, I'm not so certain about that anymore, Mr. Edgeworth. There's no need to think too deeply about it. What I'm saying is that the shutter for this may not have been pushed by Miss Foster herself.
Has a timer function.
Let's take another look at this camera and see what features it has, shall we? It has a timer built into it, even a mini tripod. Why, it's almost as if she brought this camera just to take this picture.
What are you trying to say then, Miss Fay? That when the crime occurred, Miss Foster wasn't in the field as she claimed?
Well, if she really did use the camera's auto timer, then the answer is yes, she was somewhere else. Exactly, she was not in the field.
Would the defense please explain further?
Listen, this is a crucial point. Where was Miss Foster when the incident occurred? And answering that question will also make clear Miss Foster's true identity.
Well then, please answer this question. Where was Miss Melissa Foster when the incident on the bridge occurred?
She's on the bridge.
Right here.
Naturally, the witness was right here.
But that's where the victim, Miss Hawthorne, was standing. Order! Miss Fay, what on earth?
Your Honor, if I may. After parting with the victim on the bridge, the defendant fled by car. But this would mean that there was no time to put the victim in the trunk. In other words, if someone put the body in the trunk, it could only have been before the defendant met the victim.
How asinine! Of course Mr. Falls met with the victim. The only person with the opportunity to put the victim in the trunk is the same man that killed her, Terry Falls.
You still don't understand, do you, Mr. Edgeworth? By the time the witness's photo was taken, the victim was already dead. The person in the photo was not Valerie Hawthorne.
What? I've never heard anything more ridiculous in my entire life. And who exactly is the victim in this photo?
It's obvious, isn't it? It's your own witness.
What?
It's the only possible explanation. The woman that Mr. Falls had met on the bridge that day was not Valerie Hawthorne. It was you, Melissa Foster. Me? Let's remember that it was raining and foggy on the mountain that day. Mr. Falls himself believed that the woman in front of him was Valerie Hawthorne.
But the defendant knew Valerie Hawthorne very well. After all, she was the woman whose testimony helped get him convicted.
But since then, my client has spent 5 hard years in a federal penitentiary. He couldn't remember exactly what she looked like anymore.
You're just making this up as you go along. Where's your proof?
Oh, that's right coming from you, buddy.
I've got it all right here. This piece of evidence will blow this case wide open. At the time of the incident, Mr. Falls had forgotten what Valerie Hawthorne looked like.
Thanks to the note. We know this.
Mr. Falls had forgotten the victim's face. That's why he needed some piece of identification, namely this muddy scarf. Ah! It was Mr. Falls who requested that she wear this scarf to identify herself. That's already been proven by the note the victim left. In other words, as long as you were wearing a scarf like he asked, anyone could have pretended to be Valerie Hawthorne.
Even the judge, perhaps.
Well, what do you have to say to that, Melissa Foster? No!
Where is Miss Foster?
She's collecting herself in the lobby.
It's obvious that Melissa Foster did it. She hid the body in the trunk and disguised herself as the victim. She set up the camera to snap a fake photo of them together.
The only question is, why did she do it?
Well, isn't that obvious? She's the real culprit.
Ha!
Well, we'll have to wait for Miss Foster to compose herself before we start again. Until then, this court is in recess. The defense and the prosecution are both to wait in their respective lobbies.
Yes, Your Honor.
Understood.
Very well, this court is in recess.
Do I continue or do I call it here? Because it's only been like an hour and a half. What do you think? Should I keep going or should I call it here for now?
Well, are you gonna do?
Because I'm thinking that the next part should wrap the case up.
And there's more to this? Or is this just like...
It's a one-day trial thing. There's no investigation phase.
If you want to finish it up, it's
All right.
up to you.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you weren't like gonna pierogi on me.
No,
All right.
I've been doing this.
Okay. Very good.
Mr. Falk. Ugh! I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I want to say thanks. You're real good. You really hooked me up.
Thanks. We're almost there. Once I prove that she committed the crime.
Yeah, but there's one more big obstacle. One more big obstacle we gotta get past. That's the narrator's speech impediments.
Obstacle?
Yeah, motive. Why would Melissa Foster kill that policewoman anyway?
Motive, huh?
Anyway, we're still badly in need of information.
Information, right.
What we need the most is info about this Melissa Foster herself. All we know is that she's a student studying literature. And one more thing.
What is it?
Well, the incident that happened 5 years ago, of course. The kidnapping murder case that Zebra Boy is on death row for.
I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill nobody. I never lied.
Mr. Falls, in that case, tell us more about it. About what happened 5 years ago.
Okay, I trust you. That day 5 years ago, I dream of it every day. This picture, it reminds me everything. Bridge looks same, just like then, 5 years ago. Like it could fall apart any minute.
So it's been broken like that for at least 5 years.
Ah, sorry buddy, but you sound like the one that could fall apart at any minute.
True, I did kidnap her. 5 years ago, I kidnapped my girlfriend, Dahlia Hawthorne.
Girlfriend? Huh?
Hey, hold on there. Did you say Hawthorne?
The victim's last name.
Dahlia Hawthorne, Valerie's little sister.
What? Are you serious?
The girl.
Let her go.
Shut up. Come closer and kill her.
Sorry, but you're not going to get the chance. The detective back then was Valerie Hawthorne. At first I thought shooting someone for a kidnapping was crossing the line, but if it was to protect her little sister, I can understand why she did it.
Wrong. No protect sister. Valerie betray me. Betray us.
What do you mean she betrayed you?
Everything. All lies. All make-believe. Kidnapping, too.
A make-believe kidnapping?
Dahlia, my girlfriend, her love, my teen angel.
Did he actually say my teen angel? He's seen one too many soap operas.
I do anything she says. Anything Dahlia says.
Anything Dahlia says? Hold on a minute. What you're saying is that the kidnapping 5 years ago was planned by...
Yeah.
Teen angel, red flag. Hold on. I need to deal with a certain miscreant. And let's see here. Okay, they're banned. They're blocked. What else do I need to... Okay, they're reported. I'm not sure how I... I can't seem to delete their message. That's frustrating.
Well, everyone don't click it. It's spam.
Well, they can't click it anyway because it's not published to chat. It's just showing up on the screen.
Oh.
So I see it, but the only way other people see it is because of what I'm screen sharing, basically.
Oh.
Yeah, me and Dahlia, and Valerie too.
Valerie was in on it?
Dahlia's family rich, jewelry business. We get one jewel. That's what we thought. Me and Dahlia wrote kidnap note. We sent to her dad. Asked for $2 million diamond. Tell him make exchange on Dusky Bridge. We tell him Valerie make transfer cause she new detective.
Having a police detective in your pocket is a useful thing, all right. In the end, you were planning on splitting the 2 million 3 ways, huh?
Yeah, but that woman... That woman, Valerie, she do it for real. She shoot at me for real. Me and Dahlia. I was shot in the arm. Dahlia, she jump in river.
Jump? You don't mean she jumped on purpose, do you?
I couldn't do it. I could never push her. Anyway, I blacked out. Wake up with police all over.
And that's when they decided to give you the death sentence.
I couldn't believe it. That woman, she betrayed me.
That man, Terry Falls, he killed her. He threw her off the bridge. He threw my beloved sister into the roaring river 40 feet below.
But how, if her sister was dead, how could she talk to Dahlia? In her note, she said she needed to talk to Dahlia.
Yes, she did.
So how could she talk to Dahlia if Dahlia was dead?
Well, I think you're forgetting that Maya Fey exists.
That's true, I do.
These 5 years, all I wonder is why? Why? Why did she lie? That's all I want to know.
So that's why you called her. You wanted to hear the truth from Valerie herself.
Yes, but I forget what she looked like, so I tell her to wear a scarf. I don't want to hurt her. Just ask why. Why? Why did you lie? Why did you betray me? I just want to hear answer come from her mouth. That's all.
So that's why. That's why you made a crazy escape like that. Just one thing, Zebra Boy. My senses are tingling all over. Tell me, Mr. Falls, where is it?
Huh? Where's what?
Come on now, kitten. The ransom, the $2 million diamond. Remember that now? Did you give it back to Pops? The police take it?
I don't know.
Huh? You don't know?
No, really, I don't know. It's gone with Dahlia.
With Dahlia?
That day on the bridge, Dahlia put it in backpack. Now gone with Dahlia. Gone forever. Into Eagle River.
It disappeared with Dahlia, huh? Wait a minute.
You can come back in now. We're about ready to go.
Mr. Falls, just one more question. When you said with Dahlia, do you mean the diamond is still missing? Along with the body of Dahlia Hawthorne.
I never found her. My sweet Dahlia.
They never found her.
Swallowed by river. Gone. Dahlia, my teen angel.
Your teen angel? How old was she anyway?
Just 14.
14? Guess you're robbing cradles before diamonds.
She plans a fake kidnapping and disappears into the river with a rock worth $2 million. Man, oh man, angels these days. How old is he? Well, let's see. She was 14 at the time. He's 25, which means 5 years ago he would have been 20.
That.
In the US, that is a major red flag. In Japan, I'm not so sure. Because I think the legal age of marriage over there is 16.
No, technically in the United States you can get married at 16 too. You just have to have written consent from your parents.
Yeah, well, he's also not exactly all there. So, like, I'm not, probably still illegal in Japan, but less weird. Possibly. I'm just saying, I'm not condoning this behavior in the slightest. I am just saying that, he's, mentally incompetent, and so that would possibly explain what's going on there.
I mean, she probably
He's
had-
giving Lenny vibes? Who's Lenny? Should I know who Lenny is?
Okay, well, here's the thing. Dahlia was like, what? 21?
Well, if Dahlia was 14 5 years ago, that means she's 19 now.
But here's the thing. The judge is like, what? Old enough to be her dad, and she has him wrapped around her finger.
19 now, but she's legally an adult then.
But still, who doesn't say that even at 14 she couldn't, or she still had the skill to wrap men around her finger?
Well, that is entirely possible.
Falls takes the fall and gets a one-way ticket to death row.
Lenny from Of Mice and Men. Never seen that, or read it.
Is Dahlia Hawthorne an angel, or is she really a...
It's time, kitten. Looks like we have a few more aces up our sleeve now.
You bet.
Alright, diamond added to the quick. The training wheels come off now, Mia. You gotta strike when the iron is hot. That's one of my rules. Remember it.
Isn't one of your rules also no more than 17 cups of coffee in a trial?
Now then, let's continue with the trial of Mr. Terry Falls. Witness, are you feeling better?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll try my best.
You're a brave young lady.
Not this again. I can understand a defense lawyer wanting to get her client off the hook. However, to try and pin the crime on an innocent student is... What are you talking about? My witness is not the person on trial here. She's an innocent bystander who witnessed a violent crime, that's all. What possible reason would a girl like this have for murdering a policewoman?
Certainly hard to imagine this woman is a murderer.
Her motive, huh? I figured that's what I had to establish next.
Well, Miss Faye, do you have any evidence of a motive?
Yes, of course, I think. Ha, you're still acting as tame as a kitten. Mr. Armando, listen, a lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. Smiling on the outside when your guts are twisted in knots is the mark of a pro. Maybe so, but I wish you would quit grinning at me like that.
Excuse me, may I speak, Mr. Judge?
Of course! Mr. Judge is ready anytime you like.
I'd like to say something. Some people here are suspicious of me, right? That's why I at least wanted you, Mr. Judge, to know that it's not true.
I see. You're such an honest and upstanding young lady.
Looks like this witness is a real professional.
What do you mean?
Look at that 100-watt smile. Just when things are darkest for her, click, she lights right up.
Very well then, let's hear what the witness has to say.
I was out of the country until the year before last. Until I entered college, I had never even been to Eagle Mountain before. And I certainly don't have any reason for wanting to hurt a police officer. Holding a grudge and killing the officer who testified against you 5 years ago. For kidnapping a poor girl, I just think the defendant is a terrible, horrible monster.
How did you know it was 5 years ago?
Maybe we mentioned that? I don't remember.
Out of the country, eh?
Precisely. Furthermore, she has no possible motive for committing murder.
Indeed.
You're up to bat, kitten. Sharpen those claws and put on your best smile. You bet. Somehow I have to tie her to this case.
I was out of the country until the year before last. Until I entered college, I had never even been to Eagle Mountain before. And I certainly don't have any reason for wanting to hurt a police officer.
Perhaps, but your behavior that day was very suspicious. Not only have you contradicted yourself here in court, but you know things you shouldn't. For example, the scratches on the trunk of the car.
Well, that's...
Unfortunately, Miss Faye, your last statement proves nothing. Oh, really? And why is that? The witness came to the police station once to identify the suspect. It's entirely possible that at that time an officer showed her this photo.
That seems like a rather serious mistake.
Ah, that's the oldest trick in the prosecutor's book.
That's not fair! That wicked inmate will never be able to forget that horrible day. Holding a grudge and killing the officer who testified against you 5 years ago.
A grudge?
Well, the policewoman's testimony was crucial, wasn't it? Crucial in getting the defendant sentenced to death.
Yes, and that's precisely why he harbored such deep anger against her. So much anger that he forgot his own guilt. My client has always maintained that he's innocent of those charges.
He seems rather forgetful. Your client, I mean. Not only did he forget about what he did, but he forgot the poor policewoman as well.
What do you mean by that?
Your client. He forgot what the detective looked like, right? It's too bad for her that he didn't forget about her testimony as well.
Well, she's right about that. Mr. Falls is kind of forgetful. Press harder on that. You said he forgot what the detective looked like. What did you mean by that?
Well, couldn't tell who she was without some kind of identification, right?
Quite right. That's why the victim was wearing a scarf as identification.
Why, if I had been wearing a white scarf that day, then he probably would have tried to kill me.
That's true. He's clearly a bitter man.
This is bad. Mr. Fall's reputation just keeps getting worse and worse. Sometimes it's best not to poke too deep. What should I do with that last statement?
Have it added to the testimony.
Your Honor, what the witness said just now was tremendously important. I'd like it added to the official testimony.
The prosecution has no objection. After all, the defendant is a killer and a mentally unbalanced one at that. That testimony only helps to further prove that point.
No, that's not why I...
Enough. Witness, if you would.
My pleasure, Mr. Judge. I guess I'm lucky I wasn't wearing a white scarf.
So that in itself is a contradiction, because how would she know what the person looked like if she never met the dang person to begin with?
No. See, here's the real problem. The victim's note, where she's supposed to wear a white scarf.
Uh-huh.
Read that. She shouldn't have been able to know that she was supposed to wear the white scarf because of the confidential nature of this note.
Objection!
It's true, Mr. Falls did give instructions to Valerie Hawthorne about their meeting. The note said that she...
Water
Words.
sips. I need this.
He's getting his merge mixed again.
The note that she left said, wear white scarf for identification.
Yes, what about it?
Isn't it obvious? Doesn't it strike you as odd? That note was a secret piece of evidence. How is it that the witness knows about it? Ah!
Order! Order! It is odd, isn't it? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, did you show top secret evidence to the witness?
Your Honor, I certainly never gave anyone permission to do such a thing.
In that case, the only way the witness could know about the note would be... Just a moment! Of course I didn't know about the note. It's just, I saw it when it happened with my own eyes. When the victim went to see the killer, she used her own scarf to signal him. That's why I assumed that the signal was a white scarf.
I suppose it makes sense.
Come on, Mia, you can't let her weasel out of it that easily. Witness! Sorry, but your explanation isn't going to work here. But why? It's true, that's what I saw. Impossible. There's no way you could have seen the victim use a white scarf to signal him.
Ah. The fact that the scarf isn't white is a problem.
You said several times in your testimony that the victim was wearing a scarf. A white scarf, correct? Yes. Is something wrong? That's what I'd like to know, Miss Foster. Have a look at this. It's the victim's scarf. Ah!
Thank the Lord you thought you were just being persnickety about the color. Yeah, they actually mentioned that earlier on, that the scarf wasn't white.
I'm sure people would disagree about what to call this color. However, it certainly is not white. You knew what the note said.
She knew the contents of the note?
No!
It says, wear white scarf for identification. That's the reason why you said it was white. Well, Miss Foster? No!
Order! 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 Mr. Edgeworth, I'm waiting for an explanation.
I'm quite sure this note wasn't leaked to the public.
And yet, this witness knew exactly what the note said. At the time of the murder, the number of people that knew were quite limited. Terry Falls is one. The person who wrote the note, Valerie Hawthorne, is another. And finally, one more person.
Did you say one more person?
That's right. The person that no one would have suspected. Have you figured it out, kitten?
Yep. The third person that knew the contents of the note was...
Dahlia Hawthorne.
And that person is Dahlia Hawthorne.
Dahlia Hawthorne? I've never heard that name before.
Look at the victim's note. This is what it says. Talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time. There is her name right there.
But what's this? So who is this person, this Dahlia Hawthorne?
Miss Faye must be desperate if she's trying to bring the dead back to life. Oh, the irony.
I mean, the dead wasn't dead to begin with.
I know, but given the Faye family.
The dead?
Dahlia Hawthorne was the victim's deceased younger sister. She was killed in a crime 5 years ago.
Killed in a crime? You don't mean...
Yes, she was kidnapped and killed by Terry Falls.
Objection!
You said she was killed. But was she really?
What are you implying?
Of course people thought she had died 5 years ago, when she fell off Dusky Bridge and was lost in the Eagle River. However, her corpse was never found.
She was declared legally dead 5 years ago. As far as the law is concerned, Dahlia Hawthorne is officially dead.
Objection!
But the fact remains that her body was never recovered. Dahlia Hawthorne was 14 years old 5 years ago. If she were still alive, she would be 19 now. Melissa Foster? I believe that's the same age you are.
Objection!
Even you couldn't. Miss Faye, you're not saying!
But I am. That's precisely what I'm saying. This witness before us is the girl that was kidnapped and killed 5 years ago. This girl is in fact Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
What?
Nice work. That was like tossing a grenade into a 3-alarm fire. Unless you can tie all the loose ends together. You're nothing but a hit-and-run arsonist.
I understand. If I can expose her true nature, I can turn this whole case on his head. Now is my chance to make Mr. Edgeworth squirm.
Witness, just who are you anyway?
I didn't think it'd come to this. That's enough. You don't have to say any more, witness.
Yes, I understand.
What? Mr. Edgeworth, explain yourself!
Your Honor, I have an admission to make. I honestly never thought the defense would pursue the matter this far.
You don't mean...
Yes, the prosecutor's office isn't filled with fools, you know. Naturally, we conduct full background checks on all of our witnesses.
What did he say?
Ha! It looks like the kid knew. He knew her true identity from the get-go.
No way, but then why?
If he hadn't revealed her secret, he wasn't going to say anything about it. All he wanted was her testimony, so he made a little trade. Let me introduce you to... the victim's younger sister, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
But I thought she died 5 years ago.
We thought so as well, but, well, as you can see...
Why? Why did she hide her identity for 5 years?
That has nothing to do with the current case. She was merely an accidental witness to a crime.
Objection!
Accidental? I don't believe that for a minute. For the last 5 years, she's been playing the role of victim. And now we find her acting suspiciously at the scene of another murder.
Really, Miss Faye? I must say your strategy here is painfully obvious. You're trying to pin your client's crime on an innocent witness in order to win. At any cost.
How dare you?
Please, let us take a moment to think. 5 years ago, this girl was kidnapped and nearly killed. But even worse than that, 5 years later, Dahlia Hawthorne lost something much more precious, her big sister. Miss Fay must be insane to even suggest that she murdered her.
What? I'm inclined to agree with the prosecutor's logic. Miss Fay, do you have any evidence to back up your assertion? What possible reason would this witness have for killing her beloved sister?
Diamond, that's what.
Well, you see, I thought I was winning, but somehow he's turned it around on me.
Ha! I think you need a little push in the right direction, kitten. The defense is prepared to present evidence supporting our claim.
That wasn't me. It was this guy, that crazy coffee addict.
Objection!
I think we've heard enough empty threats from you, old man. Ha! What makes you think they're empty, boy? Because your protege looks like she's sweating bullets.
I am sweating bullets.
You think you're in a tough spot, huh?
Of course! Aren't I?
No. You've just arrived at the moment of truth, that's all. Whether you win or lose, that's up to you.
Up to me.
The rashness of youth, how charming.
This coming from someone younger than me.
Now then, let's not waste any more time. Miss Fay? What motive would this witness have for murdering her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne?
I don't know, that giant hunk of rock that's worth $2 million.
Well, I mean, that would be one reason. My reason would be the note about the truth coming out. But, considering the truth is related to the rock...
You mean it's related to Dwayne Johnson?
I don't think Dwayne Johnson is in any way remotely related to the truth whatsoever. What is this? Is this the defense's idea of a joke?
If so, I certainly don't get the punchline. Well, Miss Fay?
Oh, that was the rashness of youth.
The rashness of youth? And what is your point in furthering such a stereotype?
Oh, right, we did this before. We had to present something else before the dive-in.
Yep. That witness stayed hidden for 5 years, kid. There must be a good reason for that. And somehow it must involve Valerie Hawthorne.
Okay, one more time, Mia. You've got to read the court record more carefully this time.
Now then, let's not waste any more time. Miss Fay? What motive would this witness have for murdering her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne?
That would be the victim's note.
The story starts after Terry Falls escaped. He called Valerie and told her he wanted to meet. This is the note she left. It says, "Talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time. The whole truth must come out." Valerie Hawthorne gave Dahlia a warning. She told her she was going to reveal to the world the whole truth.
The whole truth?
There was a dangerously important secret between Valerie and Dahlia. That's the reason Dahlia felt she had to kill Valerie. To keep her mouth shut permanently.
Objection!
A terrific story, Miss Fay. If you like fiction, that is. Enlighten the court, Miss Fay. What was this secret that was so important?
No, it's the diamond.
Where's your evidence? Dahlia and Valerie Hawthorne and Terry Falls. There is only one important secret that connects them all.
Oh, yes, I know this secret. Your Honor, the defense would like to request further testimony.
What testimony?
Regarding the kidnapping 5 years ago, we believe it will explain a lot of things, such as the nature of the important secret between the Hawthorne sisters.
Very well, I'll grant your request for further testimony. I know it'll be painful for you, but can you enlighten us once more, my little maple leaf?
Yes, I'll try, Mr. Judge. Putting on the old charm one more time, Dahlia. Well, this will be the last time you hide behind your womanly wiles. 5 years ago, I was kidnapped by Mr. Falls. The ransom price was a raw diamond. My sister, Valerie, brought it to the bridge. After she made the exchange, she shot Mr. Falls in the arm. That's when Mr. Falls tried to kill me by shoving me off the bridge from behind.
Right, I remember this asinine contradiction.
I survived, but I was afraid I might be kidnapped again for my family's money. So I decided to change my identity and start a new life.
The kidnapping left her emotionally scarred. With her sister's help, she left the Hawthorne family and started all over again. And we're to believe that after all that, she murdered her sister? Preposterous!
Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Fay?
Yes, Your Honor?
As you've heard, the witness is still traumatized from the kidnapping. I'll ask you again to please be extremely gentle in your cross-examination.
Mr. Edgeworth got the jump on me again. Ha! If we're not allowed to fight, then let's twist some arms. Listen up. We've still got that info, that ace up our sleeve.
What info?
Come on, kitten. Don't say you've forgotten already. The fact that the kidnapping 5 years ago was staged.
That's right, it was a fake kidnapping. Terry Falls told us that in the lobby.
I do anything she says. Anything Dahlia says.
What you're saying is that the kidnapping 5 years ago was planned by...
Yeah, me and Dahlia. And Valerie, too.
Yes, that's it. The fake kidnapping is your best shot, Mia. That's her secret. "5 years ago, I was kidnapped by Mr. Falls. The ransom price was a raw diamond. My sister Valerie brought it to the bridge. After she made the exchange, she shot Mr. Falls in the arm. That's when Mr. Falls tried to kill me by shoving me off the bridge from behind."
So, and this is the dumbest possible contradiction they could have given us, because she was the victim and Dahlia and Falls were on the right side of that X over the bridge. If he pushed her from behind, she should fall forward, because they would have been facing where the car is located. Ergo, she should have fallen into the river, if what she says is true. However, what are we going to have happen when I present this to the court?
Objection! I know. I'm not gonna spoil it.
You say that Mr. Falls pushed you into the Eagle River. However, that's hard to believe. But it's true. I felt a push on my back. I'm certain of it. It was Mr. Falls. I'm sorry. I guess I wasn't clear enough. I shouldn't have said that's hard to believe. I should have said that's impossible. Impossible? I asked that the court recall the condition of Dusky Bridge now and 5 years ago. That bridge hasn't changed one bit in these last 5 years. If someone had pushed you from behind, as you have claimed, instead of being carried away by the river, you would have been smashed by the bedrock below. And you see, this would make sense if it wasn't for the fact that we literally saw a picture of Dahlia being held in front of Terry Falls. Which means if he pushed her from behind, she would have gone towards Valerie, not away from Valerie.
But it could be that Valerie and Falls / Dahlia changed places to where they were back, like in different places.
No, the way that the way that the diagram was being shown, that was not the case. They made it look like Dahlia was actually behind. They made it look like Terry Falls was between Dahlia and Valerie, when that simply wasn't the case.
Okay.
Or at least they simply never showed that to be the case, other than like that one little picture, which is not really indicative of anything, when a previous picture showed her in front of him. Like I said, it was dumb. Yeah, you would have been smashed by the bedrock below. A most certain death. Do you understand now, Dahlia Hawthorne? The very notion that my client pushed you from behind is impossible. Ah! Your Honor, this event occurred 5 years ago. Why? For all we know, the water level in the river may have been higher back then.
Objection!
But it's 40 feet from the bridge to the river. A small change in the water level wouldn't have made a difference. Not if there was 20 feet. Not if it was 20 feet higher.
You're right. If the events occurred just as the witnesses testified, then the defendant couldn't have pushed the witness into the river. Young lady, what is the meaning of this?
You see,
Objection!
Just a moment, Your Honor. It's true that the witness testified that the defendant pushed her into the river. However, she never stated that she fell from the back end of the bridge.
what do you mean?
After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Falls panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge.
If that's true, she would have fallen into the river. Well, Miss Hawthorne, is Mr. Edgeworth's explanation correct?
Now that you mention it, I do remember now. When I fell off the bridge, my skirt got caught on one of the bridge's side wires.
You can't be serious!
Order! Order in the court.
It seems Miss Faye's assault has finally reached its conclusion.
Objection!
Oh, my dear flipping goodness. Give me just a moment. I have
I
got...
am pleased to know that I am rubbing off on you.
Yeah, well, give me just a moment. I have got to delete this person's message after I ban them from the chat and also report them. All right, so reported, banned, and now opening in mod view. Oh, thank you for following, Tuskew. Welcome in. How did you find the channel? All right, let us continue while we wait for Tuskew to type out their response.
Not now, Mia. This is no time to retreat. Unfortunately for you, this is just the start of Miss Faye's assault. What? I believe your reasoning went something like this, Mr. Edgeworth. After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Falls panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge. However, once again, I'm forced to say that's impossible. Ridiculous! What is so impossible about it? Because your flawed logic contradicts the court record. What? Let's see. This is photo. Oh, yeah, that would be pretty difficult to be pushed off the side of the bridge. Your Honor, all of the answers are right here in this photo. Take a look at the wires supporting both sides of the bridge. They extend up to about 5 feet off the ground. It would be impossible to push someone off from there. No! But let's remember the size and the strength of the defendant. Wires like this wouldn't be a problem for him. He could have easily picked a 14-year-old girl and thrown her over.
Yeah, he can't throw her over either.
So young and already so forgetful, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Falls had been shot in the right arm. Ah! And more importantly, Valerie Hawthorne had her gun trained on him at point-blank range. Ugh.
So, Mr. Falls throwing the witness off the bridge? That is clearly impossible.
Order! Order! What is the meaning of this?
Dahlia Hawthorne, you jumped into the Eagle River intentionally.
What? What is this?
Indeed, what do you mean by such a ridiculous remark?
Yes, it's ridiculous. My sister was there to help me. She had her gun and handcuffs. She could have saved me. Jumping into a raging river like that would have been suicide.
Anyway.
Perhaps, but still, that's exactly what you did. You were probably confident that you could handle the swift current, but even more so, the witness had much more compelling reason for jumping into the river.
Oh, then what was it? What was so important that you want to jump in the river?
The witness is still alive. This fact alone explains everything. This is why she risked her life by jumping into the rapids of the Eagle River. Now we present the diamond. 5 years ago, something else disappeared along with Dahlia that day. The item that Valerie brought up the mountain with her, the $2 million diamond.
No, it can't be!
Yes, Dahlia had it all planned from the beginning. The $2 million. She was going to keep it all for herself. She forced Mr. Falls to help her fake the kidnapping. At the last minute, she betrayed him and threw herself into the river, with the ransom tucked away safely in her backpack.
Why, that's simply ridiculous!
Unfortunately, buddy.
Order! Order! Order!
Your Honor, 5 years ago the witness was only 14 years old. Do you really think a 14-year-old is capable of such a demonic plan?
This woman is a demon, and there was one more person who helped make a demon out of her. Her sister, Valerie Hawthorne.
You mean the victim was involved in the kidnapping plot as well?
But she was a detective then. You're saying she participated in her sister's kidnapping?
Precisely. I'm sure that it weighed heavily on her conscience for the past 5 years. This is the sole reason behind the victim's murder.
What do you mean by that?
On the day of the murder, after receiving the phone call from Mr. Falls, Valerie called her sister Dahlia, and then she told her what she was planning to do.
Planning to do?
She was going to tell the whole truth, as she wrote in her note.
That is what sealed Valerie Hawthorne's fate. That is when you hatched your demonic plan to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. A plan that would ensure neither of your accomplices to the kidnapping would talk. And that is why you killed your sister, Valerie Hawthorne.
Who is that, laughing at a time like this?
Forgive me. It's just hilarious.
Witness? Is that you?
You amuse me, woman, Miss Mia Fey. You can certainly weave an exciting tale. Naturally, you have the evidence to back it up, don't you?
Evidence?
Evidence that I planned the kidnapping, of course. That at 14, I plotted it with Mr. Falls and my sister.
Well,
And one more thing. What happened to the $2 million diamond? If you can't provide evidence to at least show that.
Well, Miss Fey,
I don't know. What a joke. You, Miss Fey. Are you stupid or something? How can I prove a fake kidnapping that happened 5 years ago? I don't even have decisive proof of Valerie Hawthorne's murder.
well, it seems that we've come to the end. To be honest, the witness's behavior does raise certain suspicions. However, I am forced to reject the assertions made by the defense.
course you are. Is this it? Is it really over? That girl has made a fool of me and there's nothing I can do about it.
Ha! That evidence the trial is over. Who decided that?
Mr. Armando.
Come on now, kitten. Haven't you figured out that you can make your own rules? For example, even if there's no evidence, there's still testimony.
Testimony?
On the day in question, Dahlia Hawthorne murdered her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. She hid her body in the trunk of Mr. Falls' stolen car and then went to meet with him. Disguised as her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. That's what you think, right?
Yes, that's right.
In that case, there's only one answer, right? There's only one person left who can testify about Valerie Hawthorne's murder.
Since there's no proof, there's only one thing left to do. Who is the one person who can testify to that demon woman's crimes?
Terry Falls?
Your Honor, the defense wishes to call a new witness.
A new witness?
Yes, we would like to hear the testimony of Terry Falls.
The defendant?
There's only one person that can shed any further light on this situation. Only one person that knows what Dahlia's role in the kidnapping was. Only one person that can say whether the person in the photo is Valerie Hawthorne, or whether it was in fact her younger sister Dahlia disguised as her. There's only one person who can solve this riddle once and for all, and that person is Terry Falls.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what is your take on this?
Why not? The prosecution has no objection. Very well. Bailiff, bring the defendant to the witness stand.
This is my last chance, Mr. Falls. My last chance to establish Dahlia's guilt. You're all I have left.
Defendant, you've heard everything that's been said up to this point, yes?
I don't believe it. No way. Dahlia died 5 years ago. Valerie betrayed me.
Mr. Falls, I don't know what she said to you 5 years ago, but one thing is clear. Dahlia is very much alive, and you were used for $2 million.
That's not true.
Mr. Falls, there's only one question I want the answer to. 2 days ago on Dusky Bridge, who did you meet? Was it Valerie Hawthorne or was it Dahlia Hawthorne?
Dahlia, did you betray me? 5 years ago she promised never ever betray each other.
Terry.
Dahlia! It's true! You are alive!
You don't trust me anymore? That makes me sad.
Tell the truth, the real truth. I believed in you.
I shouldn't need to say it. You already know. But there is one thing I will say. My life is in your hands right now, Terry.
Dahlia.
I will allow Mr. Falls to testify once and once only. Well then, Mr. Falls, yours will be the final testimony in this trial. Witness! I'm sorry, I apologize.
Water! Please, water! Can't talk. Need water.
Oh, well, I guess it'll have to be on my coffee instead. At least it'll match the way he's probably feeling right now. Darker and bitterer than hell itself.
That day, 4 p.m., I stopped the car. I was in front of Bridge. She wasn't there, so I waited on Bridge. I watched my car from Bridge. I never put no body in that car. Finally, one woman came. She stood in front of me. We talked, then she left. That was Valerie, not my Dahlia.
Mr. Falls, you're covering for her.
Do you think she would do the same for you?
Objection!
That's enough, Miss Fay. His last statement was a fitting way to end the final testimony of the trial.
Well then, Miss Fay, please proceed with your cross-examination.
Is this how you want it to end, Mr. Falls? Another guilty verdict to go along with your death sentence? There's only one person who can stop it. You, kitten. I think.
That day, 4 p.m., I stopped the car. I was in front of Bridge. She wasn't there, so I waited on Bridge. I watched my car from Bridge. I never put no body in that car.
You were watching the car.
That bridge, other side is broken. Nobody can come from there. So, I was watching car.
What else were you expecting him to do? I suppose that's the obvious thing to do, but something's bothering me. I'm getting that feeling. A contradiction?
I wonder what's on the other side of the broken bridge anyway.
No one lives there. There's a small shrine up on the mountain, but that's it.
Anyway, nobody came. No car, nothing. Finally, one woman came. She stood front of me.
Mr. Falls, think carefully now. Are you certain that it was Valerie Hawthorne?
I never lie. It's the truth. It was Valerie. I remembered her face.
Wait a minute. If you had remembered her face, then why did you make her wear a scarf as identification?
Sorry, I told a little lie. But the woman I met, she was different from the woman standing here now. She was different. It was Valerie. We talked, then she left.
What did you talk to her about anyway? Mr. Falls?
Valerie told the truth about the kidnapping 5 years ago. She said someone needed to take the blame for it. That was all I could think to do. She said that. That's why she lied. Got me the death penalty.
And you were satisfied with that answer, witness?
Dahlia died. It was my fault. But I don't really remember. Maybe I did. Maybe I did push her in. It don't matter no more. Either way, my Dahlia, my sweet teen angel, dead.
You just saw that she isn't dead.
After Valerie talked to me on Bridge, nothing left to live for. That was Valerie, not my Dahlia.
How can you be so sure? It was raining at the time, and sunset that day was at 5 o'clock. It would have already been pretty dark on the mountain at 4:30. Please, Mr. Falls, this is your last chance. You've already taken the fall once for something you didn't do.
That woman, it wasn't Dahlia.
Stop right there. What more needs to be said?
Hmm.
Even if it means the death penalty, even if it means taking the blame for murder, you'll still do whatever's necessary to protect her, won't you, Mr. Falls? I know it's obvious, but he's clearly lying. He's been cursed by Dahlia Hawthorne. He'll probably go to his grave still believing in her. Mr. Falls, even if you can show he's lying, the poor guy will still be cursed. You'll still have to point out the contradiction anyway. That's the curse of being a defense lawyer, I guess. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so the contradiction was he watched his car from the bridge and he never put nobody in that car. So the question is... if you watched your car from the bridge... Well... I don't know, I guess, I should present the crime photo?
Objection!
No, that's not it. Your Honor, what do you think of the witness's statement?
I don't think anything of it. How about you?
I guess I don't think anything of it either.
And we don't have a problem, but we do have a penalty.
There wasn't a problem. Couldn't he just let it slide?
He watched his car from the bridge. He never put no body in that car. What's the problem here? Okay, let's see. Alright, I don't think that there's a problem there. Alright, let me press this here.
That day, 4 p.m., I stopped the car. I was in front of bridge.
According to the note, the meeting was supposed to take place at 4:30. You certainly arrived early, didn't you?
It was raining, already dark too.
You waited on the bridge for 30 minutes? Mr. Falls?
Eagle Mountain, that spot. Strong memories.
Why did he just clam up? Could it be he's hiding something here?
She wasn't there, so I waited on bridge.
You were quite early, so you waited on the bridge, correct?
Yeah, I like waiting. I am used to it.
I'm sure he is. Zebra Boy waited 5 years to ask a single question. To find out why a woman betrayed him. To him, 30 minutes must have been like the blink of an eye. Okay. He watched his car from the bridge. He never put nobody in that car. So... what is the contradiction here? So if he got there in... So he got there at 4:30, waited a half hour. Valerie's autopsy report says she died from blood loss between 4 and 5 p.m.
But if he had gotten there first, wouldn't he be facing the car?
Oh wait, he got there at 4 p.m. Waited till 4:30. Watched his car from the bridge, never put nobody in the car. Alright, so... I'm gonna save here just in case, because I'm not sure that this is the right thing. Let's see. Autopsy report. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. Okay. So, if that's not it... photo, maybe? No, that shouldn't be it. Oh, wait a minute. Profile. Let me check this photo. Oh!
That's what I said.
He didn't get there first. Because his back is facing the car, which means she was on the bridge waiting for him.
That's what I said. If he
Oh.
had gotten there first, he would have been facing the car, wouldn't he?
I misheard you or something, I guess.
Objection!
So when you got to the bridge, no one had arrived, huh? So you waited on the bridge. You're sure of that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're sure, huh? Well, then I'm sure too, Mr. Falls. I'm sure that you're lying.
Huh? What? Ah!
Oh, I would love to hear your rationale on this, Miss Fay. You want to know who arrived at the bridge first? Just look at this photo. It's perfectly clear. Obviously, the person that came first would be the one at the end of the bridge, right? But that's the victim at the end of the bridge.
Supposedly.
Precisely my point. In other words, Mr. Falls, you must have arrived at the bridge after she did. Mr. Falls, please don't get so worked up. We just want the truth.
I got there around 4 o'clock. It's true. I had somewhere to go. A special place.
Did you go to the special place before you went to the bridge?
Yeah, it's an old temple about 15 minutes from the bridge. 5 years ago, me and Dahlia, we promised each other. We swore we wouldn't betray each other. She brought a memento to represent our love.
A memento?
5 years ago, I hid it under base of tree there. It's a special memory for me. This is it. This is what I went to get.
This little bottle on a necklace is your memento. It's quite charming, but it looks empty.
Your Honor, you heard what my client said. He arrived at the scene at 4 o'clock. But he then left his car unattended and walked away. He was gone for approximately 30 minutes. With that much time, Dahlia Hawthorne could have easily hidden the body in the trunk of his car.
No! Indeed, there certainly was enough time for it.
I've still got a chance. Mr. Falls, there's no mistaking it. Huh? Mr. Falls?
That's enough. Please.
Witness!
I promised her 5 years ago. If it ever happens that we can't trust each other no more, then we're supposed to drink bottle. Ugh.
No! Stop the trial! Your Honor, we need a recess!
I was stupid. Couldn't keep promise. So I did it. I drank this.
No, we're so close. Just a little more. I was gonna prove your innocence.
No, don't want that. No, don't trust self. Maybe kill again. Kill sweet Dahlia again.
Mr. Falls!
Mr. Armando, thanks for the coffee.
Mr. Falls! And so my first trial ended. Suddenly and tragically. It ended with no winners, only losers. I ended up with a wound that cut so deep into my soul I thought it'd never heal. I'm sure it was the same for the young prosecutor as well. But one person. True criminal, Dahlia Hawthorne. She left the courtroom with a secret smile on her demonically sweet face. Unforgivable. That witch. Mr. Armando. We were so close to the truth. It was right there in front of us. You were just a little too soft, kitten. It's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself. Don't cry, kitten. You're gonna make my coffee all salty. I knew it. I knew I wasn't cut out for this. Mia. Don't you get it? You can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. Mr. Armando.
Your hand. It's bleeding.
He just crushed his coffee cup.
Still. Sir, you're bleeding.
No matter how tough the case, no matter how bitter the memories, they always fade over time. When you file them away, you'd eventually forget them. One year later, in this very same courthouse, house. I myself got wrapped up in that case. Only after that did Dahlia Hawthorne get put on trial for her crimes. The verdict that was ultimately handed down to her was guilty, of course. Naturally, when the verdict was read, she had a perfect angelic smile on her face. It was finally all over. At least, that's what I thought at the time. Unfortunately, I couldn't have been more wrong. It's been 5 years, but now something has happened that's made me remember all this.
Nick, what did you do?
I died. Brand new episode has been added. So yeah, we will save here. And we will pick this back up next Wednesday with Bridge to the Turnabout. And then, yeah, Sunday, I should be resuming Batman Arkham Asylum. I'm pretty sure I have... Let me double check. What, is there something happening on the 9th that I should know about?
Yeah, I work.
Oh, you've got the late shift? Okay, well, like the late shift or the middle one?
The weekend evening shift.
Okay, the 6 p.m. one? Okay, so I just started at 8 p.m. that day, no biggie. Okay, yeah, so 8 p.m. instead of the usual 7 p.m. on Sunday, but you get it. In the meantime, this is Dr. Novelle signing out for the evening. Hope you all have a good one. Talk to you later.